What is up, everybody? Happy Friday. I have a lot to celebrate this week, and I'm really excited to get started with you guys today. Let me get Instagram set up, and then we can all be ready to go. It's a lot to really talk about today, right? A lot has happened um, this week. I really want to talk about the student loan conversation that's been. Oops, whoopsies. Can we mute that? There we go. I really want to talk about the student loan conversation that's been started. I kind of blame myself low key because my post keeps getting shared on Facebook. But I really want to talk about that student loan cancellation and why that is special. It's not for like 4-year universities or colleges or anything like that. This is a special situation. Hey girl, hey. And so only, these specific schools are going to be affected. So like regular colleges like the Ohio State University, Jackson State, these kind of schools are not going to be affected by this student loan cancellation. This is not mass student loan forgiveness like everybody is asking for. This is something, a very specific situation, I guess you could say, regarding the latest round of student loan cancellations. So let me get this live started on Instagram. And so if you're new here, welcome. My name is Markia. I'm known on social media as the Money Plug. I am a board certified credit repair specialist and credit score consultant, and I use my platform to teach you guys the importance of understanding your credit, understanding how it works. How is your credit score calculated? Like what makes the points move around? What are the different sections that affect your credit worthiness and things like that? So and then we also talk about how to use that credit and that knowledge to better your quality of life. Let's see. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Let's see. Let's see. And then boom. We're good to go on Instagram. All right. So how this works is, I'm going to be talking, but if you guys, hey, Tori, if you guys have questions, you guys are more than welcome to drop your questions in the comments. Even if they have nothing to do with what I'm talking about, as long as it's credit related, I got your back. But how is everybody? I know I have not been able to get live all week. I kept saying, I'm going to go live, I'm going to go live, I'm going to go live, and I've been so busy. But y'all know, look, I'm doing better. I was only like 5 minutes late today. Y'all know, I swear I'm going to do it at 8 and I never do. So I'm only 5 minutes late today. Not the Jeep. Every time she comes on the live, it's the Jeep. Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So before we get into the Q&A tonight, I really kind of wanted to talk about the post that I made earlier about the student loan cancellation. Oh, thank you so much. A lot of people were under the impression that this was a part of the student loan forgiveness that they were all begging for when Joe Biden was running for office, and it's not. This is actually a result of a lawsuit that was launched against the schools that are listed on the list. As a matter of fact, I'll pull the list up. If you are on Instagram, you're not going to be able to see the list on the live. However, I do have it posted on my page, and you guys can go take a look at it whenever you guys are ready. But if you're on Facebook or TikTok, you should be able to see this. And if it's too small, again, it is on Instagram. And if you sign up for my email list, I'm going to be sending it out again tonight for everybody on the email list. And you can do that by clicking the link in my bio. But all of these schools were included in a lawsuit. It was originally against Betsy DeVos, or whatever her name was, the horrible lady that Trump had in office for the Department of Education. And so it kind of went to the next person once a new person came into office. Hey, girl. And so this is kind of a continuation of that. This had nothing to do with the student loan forgiveness that everybody is looking for, and everything to do with these schools kind of pissed some people off, and they filed similar to a class action lawsuit. And so these schools specifically are the ones that are offering cancellation. Now, cancellation and forgiveness technically are two different things. What they're doing is they're canceling the rest of your student loan. No, you're not going to get a refund for any money that you already paid into these student loans. However, if you still have balances owed, you don't have to worry about paying them. Now, if you look, I love this. I actually love this screenshot. I took it directly from the website, and it tells you it's a pretty straightforward. Have you applied for borrower defense? If it's a no, then you can go to that link that's right there, studentaid.gov/borrower-defense. So if you go to that website, then you can apply for borrower defense. Now, if you have applied for borrower defense and you did go to one of those schools listed on that you see on the list, then yes, your loan is canceled. If you did not apply, but you did attend one of these schools, you can go ahead and put in your application now, and they will allow, they'll go through, they'll tell you whatever you need to supply and things like that. And then you'll find out whether or not your student loans are canceled. Now, the biggest thing that I need you guys to understand is what kind of effect is this going to have on your credit, right? Because what does it mean when your student loans are canceled as far as how it reports to your credit report? And the answer is simple. It looks paid off. Whether your student loans are forgiven or canceled, it will appear as if you paid off your student loan, like you paid off the rest of the balance in one large lump sum, which is good, right? Because it looks as though you paid your student loans off. Of course, for a loan, it looks like you fulfilled the terms of that agreement or that contract. However, score-wise, I'm going to be honest with you guys, your score is going to go down. There's literally no way around it. Your score is going to go down. And it's not for the reason that you think. It's not a negative. The reason that your score goes down is because it needs time to adjust. And what I mean by adjust is it no longer reports as an open, actively reporting account. And so because of this, it's only going to be reporting the history associated with this account. So it moves into a different category. It's not going to be used with your open debt. It's going to be reporting with debt that you've completed, paid off. And so now your consumer report has to make some adjustments in how they're calculating your score, because this account now holds a different kind of weight. And so while your score is adjusting, yeah, you'll lose those points. But as long as you're doing everything else that you're supposed to, paying your bills on time, low credit utilization and things like that, your score will immediately go back up. Now, I'm sorry. I don't want to say immediately, because my immediately and your immediately is two different things. It's not going to happen right away. It's going to happen over time. So I'm not saying like it's going to take a year. It could, it really depends on your credit profile. It could be a month, 2 months, 3 months. It's really hard to judge. But as long as you're doing everything that you're supposed to, even with the loss in points, it's really not going to impact you as much as you're thinking it's going to. My sister attended Mary Baldwin University, but they were looking at closing the school. What will happen with her student loans? So that really depends. If they're federal student loans, then the government will step in and they will issue some kind of notification to her as far as what's going to happen with the rest of her loan. Because let's say you prepay for the whole year, right? And the school gets shut down before the end of the year. Now what? Like, it said that I owe this much, but I didn't even get this much worth of education. So a lot of times they will amend the loan to only account for the time that you were actually at the school. Or is it only public? So this is only with government-backed student loans. So no, private student loans are a little bit different. So private student loans are handled just like you can think of it low key like a private personal loan. So each individual company will have to decide how are they going to handle their private student loans. Now, the loans I'm talking about now are the government-backed loans. And so for you and your sister, if they do decide to close the school, 9 times out of 10, what's going to happen is she is going to be notified by her loan servicer, and they're going to adjust the amount that's owed. And then, they'll come up with a repayment plan if she decides not to go back to school, et cetera, et cetera. But unfortunately, the money that is already owed is still going to be owed, even if the school closes down. I hope that makes sense. My private was dismissed, thank God. So it sucks. I understand with private student loans. For those of you with private student loans, I really want you to go back and watch the live that I did. And I don't think it's on, actually, it's not on Instagram. So if you are on Instagram, I highly suggest you go to my YouTube channel, which is WWTMPD. What would the money plug do? Because I did a live I want to say like last week, with someone known as the Money Wise Lawyer, who is a consumer lawyer with an expertise in like student loans and how that's, handled in court and things like that. And he talked about private student loans, and he said some really good things about how to handle your private student loans, how to handle student loans kind of in default and things like that. So I highly suggest you guys go back and watch that live, because he shared some really, really good information. His TikTok name is @MoneyWiseLawyer, and his Instagram name is @MoneyWiseLaw. And his name is Jay Fleshman. I want to say I said that right. I'm really bad at last names. Let's see what questions I got. I have loans from a school that lost accreditation and my degree is void. How do I get rid of the loans? So because they can't get back the things that they taught you, you can't get your loans erased just because the school lost its accreditation. I remember a couple years ago, y'all know I'm from Baltimore. I remember Sojourner Douglas College, I think it was, lost their accreditation. And unfortunately, those people were kind of SOL. They still had to pay back those student loans because technically they still received that education. Now, are there options for like consolidation or settling them and things like that? Of course, yes. But unfortunately, just because your school lost accreditation does not mean that your loans will be dismissed. Unfortunately. Options for like consolidation. There we go. Sorry, the screen would not refresh for TikTok. So if I didn't get to your question on TikTok and you posted a question, please put it back up because I didn't get a chance to see it. The screen was frozen. Oh, you're so welcome, Tori. All right. So now, I'm not fooling with y'all today. So I've been working on a lot of stuff in the background, right? And taking a lot of feedback and stuff like that. So the course I'm shooting for September 1st for the course to be finished. I've started recording the content and kind of piecing everything together, but I need y'all help. So if you have specific things that you know for a fact you want me to include in the course, which is the course is going to be like how to fix your credit, everything. I'm literally going to be talking about everything from breaking down the FCRA and the FDCP and things like that to which letter each law kind of applies to, so you know why you send certain letters instead of just the order, and things like that. So it's really comprehensive. So if there's something that you for 1,000% sure that you want me to include, you can email me. My email address is markiab@themoneyplug.co. If you're on TikTok, it is written in my bio. And you guys can email me your suggestions and I'll be sure to include them in the course for you guys because I really want to make sure that I'm including everything you need to know and then the stuff you don't know you need to know. As for proof of debt, got nothing. What do I do next? So if you sent in a debt validation request and you didn't get anything back yet, first you want to make sure that it's been 45 business days. It's always business days. I mean, the reason why I still stick with the 45, even though it's post-COVID, right? And everybody's saying it went back to 30, it's because it's 30 days from when they received the actual letter. So unless you sent it certified, and tracked it the whole way, which you don't have to do, you really don't know exactly when they got it. So, and then they still have to get the mail, process your request. So, give them a couple days. So if it's been 45 business days and you still haven't gotten a response, then I know you're not going to like this, but you're going to have to repeat your request. Usually it's in the form of a no response letter. And it's like, hey, I sent you, please see the attached letter that I sent on this date. I requested this information and I have not received an answer. If you are still conducting an investigation, please let me know. If you have completed the investigation, please give me all of the evidence that you have that substantiates your right to report and collect on this debt. And if you cannot provide this information, please remove this account from my credit immediately, as it is costing me thousands of dollars in interest and undue financial harm. Hold on, I'm flipping through. I hope that answered your question. But so you're literally just going to repeat your request and just kind of hint at the fact that you've sent the letter previously. You can even attach copies of the evidence that you have that you sent it. So if you sent it certified, you can send, take a picture of the certified thing and send that in as well. But my school was testing on Brightwood College. I applied for student loan discharge because they lost accreditation while I was there. I still graduated, but I really don't use the degree anywhere. I hate that there's a character count. I really wish I could get everybody's questions. I got an alert today that the history on my student loans have changed. So the first thing you're going to want to do, if you ever get a notification that the history on your student loans has changed, log into your loan servicer immediately. Like, you need to see exactly what has changed. It's likely that the balance, if they forgave you, then it's likely that the balance has updated to zero. That's the change that they're talking about. It's not going to remove. If it's forgiven or discharged or canceled or whatever the case may be, the history associated with your student loan is still going to report. So it should not disappear. But what should happen is that the balance is updated to zero. So then you won't have anything left to pay back. And sometimes, especially with everything that's going on with the mail, so a lot of times people will see the change on their credit report before they receive anything in the mail. You also want to be sure that maybe you didn't select that you only wanted electronic correspondence from your loan servicer, because then you might not receive anything in the mail. So if you ever get an alert that the history associated with your student loans have changed, first thing you want to do is log into your loan servicer account. How do I scroll down on this? Okay. My ex-husband voluntarily turned in a vehicle we both had our name on, but they are only coming after me. It's an 11K down on my credit report. What can or should I do about this? So first of all, if both of you are signed on the loan, then no, they should not only be coming after you, they need to be coming after him too. It's likely that they don't have his contact information, and that's why they're not coming after him. And it's a lot easier to harass you because they know that the contact information that they have for you is valid. Now, because you guys co-signed on this vehicle, you both have a responsibility towards this debt. So both of you either have to amicably come together to figure out like, okay, well, how are we going to settle this? Or you can settle it on your own and then kind of get it back in blood. That's kind of like your only option. And it's very, very unfortunate. Like, I hate when this happens because they always pick the easier target to come after. But the same effect it's having on your credit, I can promise you it's on his as well, regardless of who's the primary and who's the secondary on the loan. If both of you are included in the loan, then both of you are actually going to be affected by the fact that the vehicle was turned in. When it comes to vehicles, whether it's voluntary repossession or involuntary repossession, meaning they came and took it, it's still a repossession and it reports exactly the same on your credit. One is not more favorable than the other. And so what I would suggest to you, if you are in a place financially where you could pay it off or you could take care of it, then do so. Contact the company and see if you can negotiate a settlement for less than what the actual debt is. There is no penalty when it comes to settling for less than owed. I know there's a stigma associated with that because that's the comment that they put on your credit. But I promise you, lenders only care that your balance is zero. They don't give a damn how much you paid to get it to zero. They just want to see zero. So you can contact the company and try to get them to you can get them to settle for less than what you owe, or maybe set up a payment arrangement. But unfortunately, they don't care who pays it as long as somebody pays it. It irritates me that I can't scroll this. No, all destinations. Okay, let's see if I got some more questions. And if you had, like I said, if you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to put them in the comments. I have no idea what's going on with TikTok today, but for some reason, the screen keeps freezing. The screen keeps freezing. So if you're on TikTok and you had a comment and I didn't type it, and I didn't answer it, please let me know. I don't want y'all to feel like I'm ignoring you. Let's see. I'm going to, I know I have it. Where is it? I'm going to type let me see if I can put this over here so I can see it. I'm going to type this in the comments for you guys on Facebook so that you can see the website. And on Instagram too, if you guys got questions, please don't hesitate to put them in the comments and I'll answer them for you guys too. Studentaid.gov/borrower defense. Boop. There we go. I put that up there for you guys. And that's the website to go to check to see if you qualify for the loan cancellation, the student loan cancellation. Something else that I want to talk about, I haven't had the opportunity to post about it yet, but it's in my drafts. I recorded it like 3 o'clock this morning, so I'll probably re-record it again. But there was a guy, and it's funny because he's from Baltimore, so that made me like even more irritated. But there was a guy who was going around and saying that, you know what, I wonder if I can, shoot, it's on my phone. I'm wondering if I can, what to say? Oh, there it go right there. Okay, that's the link for the student loan cancellation. I want to see if I can pull up this video. Let me see if I can pull it up. Somebody tag me in this video. And I'm sorry, Instagram, y'all not gonna be able to see it, but I'll see if I can turn it up for you guys. Mentions.
That's okay.
Let's see. Here we go.
It's a scam that's become so normalized that we don't even realize it's a scam anymore. Paying your student loans back that have been charged off.
Okay, I'm about to see if I can share the whole thing with y'all. Chrome tab, this one. Nope, this one.
Or the ones that have been sold to a collection company. So anytime your student loan debt has been charged off or sold to a collection agency, that is a violation of your rights. It's actually identity theft. See, 15 USC 1681 BA2 pretty much just states that you didn't give any consent. And no consent is identity theft. So that means that the student loan borrower furnished your information to a third-party collection agency illegally without your permission. That is identity theft. And you can have it removed off your credit report and nobody in TikTok is talking about it.
What's a scam that's become so normalized?
Nobody
realizes the scamming.
Nobody on TikTok is talking about it because it's not fucking true. Okay, so where is it? Okay, so I want to go back. Shit, I close it out. I gotta go back and open it back up because I'm literally gonna open up the law for you guys.
I was today years old when I found out.
There we go. All right, so I'm literally gonna pull up the law so y'all can see it yourself. But y'all, so y'all know how big I am on trust but verify, right? How like I really think that it's important that you guys understand that yes, I'm providing you guys with answers and I'm saying a lot of stuff, but I want you to be able to know where to go. So if you have one of these, right? Y'all know I call this my credit Bible. Oh, the website was down earlier, probably because everybody just found out about it. If you weren't able to get through on the student aid website today, try again like over the weekend or on Monday after, after everybody kind of calms down with the website. So if you have one of these, right, this is called this is a hard copy of the Fair Credit Reporting Act, Title 15 of the U.S. Code, subsection 1681. Now, this includes a lot of other acts, but this is pretty much dictating how debt can report to the credit bureaus, right? There's another one called the FDCPA. I don't have the hard copy, but I do have the PDF. And you guys know that I put that in the group. I put this in the group as well as the FDCPA. I think I put that in the group files as well. And if you need a PDF copy, you can literally just Google it. Just make sure that you pay attention to the color. The most recent FCRA copy is purple. And then the FDCPA is like a light bluish color. But I'm going to see if I can pull up the PDF actually, because I really want you guys to look at the law that he's talking about. Complete FCRA. Here it is. I really want you guys to take a look at the laws that he's talking about. Oops, exit. So that you can see for yourself. So he said that it is Title 15 of the U.S. Code, subsection 1681B(a)(2), right? 1681B. Let's see, it's searching for it now. Here we go, 1681B. Next. Here it is. Let me see if I can share this with you guys. So my school wasn't on the list. If your school's not on the list, then no, this student loan cancellation is not going to apply to you. Okay. So this right here is a copy of the FCRA, and I know you guys can't see it on Instagram. I'm so sorry. But subsection 1681B of the FCRA is about permissible purpose. So you guys know that I talk all the time about the law of permissible purpose. When we're talking about removing inquiries specifically, is when we start talking about it. And so the law of permissible purpose states that a company has to have your written consent or expressed authorization to request a copy of your credit report. And without that authorization, they cannot report the inquiry on your credit report, or they cannot report that they checked your credit, essentially. And so subsection 1681B, if you gave the student loan, so here's the thing. When you guys sign a lot of contracts, you do not read the fine print, because in your student loan, like in the promissory note and all the stuff that you're signing your name on, inside it, it says that you are allowing this company to do what they got to do to get that money out of you, to include selling this account to debt collectors and giving them the right to collect on that debt, either on behalf of the student loan servicer, or if they sell the entire rights to the account to a debt collection company, you give them the right to do that. They don't need your permission to do that. And so the reason nobody's talking about it is because it's not true. So he specifically said subsection A2. So let's look at, let me open up okay, so A2, in accordance with the written instructions of the consumer to whom it relates. So let's go back to what this means, right? Subject to subsection C, any consumer reporting agency may furnish a consumer report under the following circumstances and no other. So specifically, subsection 1681B states, right, that a consumer reporting agency, so Equifax, Experian, TransUnion, LexisNexis, Innovis, these agencies who report this information on you, they can only report under the situation that they have your written consent provided to each individual company who's reporting this information or requesting this information on you. Does that make sense? So if you gave me permission to tell somebody your business, right? This is you telling me that I can tell other people what you told me. This is you telling me that anybody who comes and tells me things about you, they need to have your permission to do that as well. Anybody who's talking about you, right, needs to have your permission to do so. That is what subsection 1681 talks about. It does not say anything about it being identity theft if your student loans are sold to collections. It's completely legal for them to sell your accounts to collection companies in an attempt to collect that debt. Because they are the original creditor, it gives them the right to do so, especially when it comes to these federal student loans. I'm telling y'all got to watch that live that I did with the Money Wise lawyer, because in it, he talks about the differences between private student loans and federally backed student loans. Federally backed student loans can literally hunt you down to the day that you die, literally. Whereas private student loans fall under a different kind of jurisdiction, I guess you could say. And he even went as far as said that some companies don't even take you to court if you don't pay. He didn't say which companies they were, but he said that happens often with private student loans. And so this law, and this is what I mean when I say that you guys got to trust but verify. It's just so easy for people to pick up a phone and start recording videos and say that they are credit experts and spitting out a law that you have never heard of. It makes them sound so knowledgeable. But this is why it is important to not only be told the information, but to be given access to the information so you can verify it yourself. Everything that he said in that video was not true. It was not true. And y'all know I hate misinformation when it comes to you guys' finances. When it comes to credit literacy, financial literacy, and things like that, I hate when they're only telling you guys pieces of a story. Yes, it does say that you need permission. It does say that. But you need permission to talk about you, not to sell your account to, another company. I love your passion to correct false information. It's just that I was one of those people who was given false information. I was one of those people who unfortunately had to suffer because of the false information I got. And what is it called? Ignorance of the law is not an excuse. That's something my teacher used to always tell me, and it really applies. So this purple book it's literally just a hard copy of the Fair Credit Reporting Act, which is what a lot of people keep referencing when y'all be watching these. According to the FCRA Act, this is what they're talking about. You can get this for free. Matter of fact, I will post the website up for you guys, but you can get this for free. It's ftc.gov if you're on Instagram. It's ftc.gov, and you can bulk order educational supplies and things like that to include these books. I know they said they were on back order for a while, and I know a few weeks ago people were saying that they weren't accepting orders. If you are active on Facebook, I do have a Facebook group. It's called Plugged In the Credit Clubhouse, and inside of the group files, I have a PDF of this book as well as a PDF of the FDCPA, which is the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. And so, yeah. And if you're not active on Facebook and you want a copy of it, you can literally just Google it. Just make sure you're downloading the right ones. The FCRA, make sure you get the purple copy. The FDCPA, make sure you get the blue copy. I don't have a hard copy of the FDCPA. What about Parent Plus loans? No new information has come out about Parent Plus loans. I haven't heard anything new regarding forgiveness or anything like that. The student loan cancellation information that's coming out today is strictly due to a lawsuit that was launched against very specific schools. It had nothing to do with, everybody's getting their student loans forgiven and things like that. It had nothing to do with that. It was strictly just talking about these particular I don't even want to call them universities, these particular secondary education places, right? They violated. And so they were sued. And because, people kept pushing, it was started back when Betsy DeVos, I don't know that lady's name, when she was back in office, and it just kind of switched people. And they finally reached a resolution. That's literally what that was. It had nothing to do with the student loan forgiveness that's going around and everything to do with a separate private situation. That's why if you look on the list, you don't see four-year universities and stuff like that. You don't see that on there. These are all these for-profit schools. Let's see. Credit agencies are not removing or updating inaccuracies. What to do now? I was referred back to the creditor. So it depends on what happened. I can't, it all depends on what was your attack. What did you say? Who did you speak with? Did you get who they talk to. The thing about the credit bureaus is that they are only repeating information that the creditor is providing them. A lot of people have a false sense of responsibility when it comes to the credit bureaus, but they are literally just a figurehead. They're just a middleman. They repeat any information that's told to them. So when you do your bureau reinvestigation letter and you say, hey, these accounts are reporting inaccurately, do you know what the credit bureaus do? They go account by account and they say, hey, did you mean to say this to me? Oh, okay. What about this? Did you mean to say this too? Oh, okay. Well, what about this one? They're saying that, oh, no, this one's right too. Okay. And then you'll get a letter in the mail that says all of the accounts are actually verified, right? It is not the credit bureau's responsibility to validate debt. It is their responsibility to verify it, meaning they will go back to the data furnisher or the person who is providing this information to make sure that this is what they said. Now, if you keep going up against the credit bureau and they're not fixing anything, it's because the original creditor is reporting it that way. It has nothing to do with the credit bureaus themselves, other than they're just repeating what they were told. So if you're having issues during the dispute process and you're like, I'm not getting nowhere, and they keep referring me back to the creditor, it's because the creditor is the data furnisher. They're the one who provides the information to the bureaus. And so it's best to attack it at that level. I hope that answered your question. What other questions y'all got for me today? Yeah, TikTok is really blowing the hell out of me today. Whew. Well, mute that. Here we go. If you were on disability when you got a Parent Plus loan, can you get it dropped even though now I hate this character thing. I hate the character limit on TikTok. I'm so sorry, y'all. So if your circumstances have changed with a Parent Plus loan, the very first thing I'm going to tell you is that you need to go talk to your loan servicer. Like, at the end of the day, that is always going to be the first step when it comes to these federally backed loans. You need to go to your loan servicer, period. I know everybody else is going to tell you, well, I can do this for you and I can do that for you. Unless it's a lawyer, always start with your loan servicer, always, because they can tell you exactly what companies that they have, what programs that they have. For example, for those of you who are looking for rehab, let's say you got a bunch of late payments and you want to get them taken off. Instead of removing the entire student loan account, which can actually hurt more people than it'll help, you can contact your loan servicer to see if they have something known as rehabilitation, meaning they will get the loan out of default, maybe change, update all your late payments. They offer a lot of different programs to help you guys, get in a good place, because if you're happy, you're going to make your payments. So they're going to try to do what they can to make you happy within the realms of their responsibilities, if that makes sense, within what they're allowed to do for you. Some of you can get on income-based repayment plans. Some of you, there's so many options, but you won't know what your options are until you contact your loan servicer. But removing your student loans should never be your very first choice. I know a lot of y'all be obsessed with removing everything off your credit report, but for a lot of you, you're actually hurting yourself more than you're helping yourself. For most of you, your student loans are the oldest account that you have on your credit report, so it's the one providing the most history. And for all the years that your payments were deferred, right, these are considered on-time payments. And so if you went to college for 4 years, right, you got your bachelor's, and then you went straight for your master's, so maybe that took you another 2 years, right, and now you're working on your doctorate, so that's going to be another year or two. All those years where you were not making payments due to you still being enrolled in school, that's considered on-time payment history. That's really helping your credit. So even if you have a couple of months of late payments, it's still considered a very valuable account just because of the years associated with it. So it's best to try rehabbing first. And then if you're not getting anywhere and you absolutely positively have to get it removed, then you start looking at removal options for your student loans. The analogy I always like to use when I'm talking to y'all about removing accounts from your credit report is, think of let's say you got a house and you live in floodland. So your house is up on stilts, right? Your student loans is the big pole in the middle. That's right up under your house. It's the main support beam, right? And every time you add a new account to your credit profile, it adds another support beam. Over time, those beams, they're kind of beat by the ocean. They kind of disintegrate, deteriorate, and they go away. And what that means is when you pay off an account, it reports for 7 years from the date of last payment, and then it'll disappear as if it never existed in the first place. Now, with your student loans, if you have that one pole and maybe 2 or 3 other poles up under your house, if you remove your student loans, your house is not stable. Your credit is not stable. You will lose points instead of helping like you thought it was going to, because you're going to lose all of the history associated with that account, not just the fact that you had late payments on that account or the account was charged off. Yes, this goes for charged off cards too, or charged off accounts, period. So, the biggest thing is make sure you are adding other accounts to your credit profile over the years, right? I know a lot of you are afraid of that, but you have to do so. And then 2, always try rehabbing first. Try to fix the pole first before you just, let the pole just fall away. How to remove a balance 20 plus years old at a credit union when the collections can't dispute because it doesn't exist on your credit report and the credit union system changed. So if it's not on your credit report, then no, it's not affecting your credit whatsoever. But it does not mean that it is not. It does not mean that debt is not owed. If this is an identity theft issue, then you need to prove that it was an identity theft, because as far as they know, they talked to you. This is your debt. 1, you're going to need a police report. You need to let somebody know that you were a victim of identity theft. That police report is going to be very valuable to you. You do not have to point the finger at anybody when you file this police report, but you do need to file one if you are a victim of identity theft. You're going to take a copy of that police report. You're going to go to each individual credit agency, right? And each individual credit reporting agency, you're going to say, hey, I was a victim of identity theft. What do I need to submit to you to show that I am a victim of identity theft? And you're going to report it to all 3 of the bureaus. You're going to take that identity theft report, take it to the company that you owe, and you're going to say, hey, I was a victim of identity theft at this time. What do I need to submit to you to prove that I was a victim of identity theft? Here is a copy of my police report. It doesn't matter how old that debt is, you still owe. The thing that you guys don't understand about those dates, so how long a debt reports on your credit, as well as how long a company has to sue you, is that has no bearing on how long you owe this debt. You're going to owe this debt 100 years from now. It's just that they can't legally pursue you for it, and it can't report on your credit report. But you still owe that debt, and they can still tell you that you owe this debt, and they can still send you mail and say, hey, you owe this debt. How about paying me? Where can I find the school list? Sorry, but I don't have Instagram. Where did I get it from? The link in my bio will take you to my website. And if you go to the homepage, there is a space for you to sign up for my email list if you want to do that. But what website? I'm about to find a website for you that has the list. Give me 2 seconds. Is it this one? Is it this one? No, it is not. Where did I get it from? So this is a very long link. Can I post it here? Yep. So I'm going to post it on TikTok for you. This is a link. It has all of the information regarding the case. And then inside that, it's going to have all of the schools that were affected by this lawsuit. If you can't see the picture on my Instagram. Even if you don't have Instagram, if you click the little Instagram button in my bio, it'll still take you to my page just in a Safari, and you can click the post so that you can screenshot the actual photo. Okay, thanks. I reported it, but they don't have record of it. Shaking my head, thanks. So here's the thing. If they can't prove that you owe that debt, then technically you don't owe it. But this is why I say go directly to the company, take the copy of your police report and say, hey, I was a victim of identity theft. Here is a copy of my police report. What is this company's policies regarding proving that I've been a victim of identity theft and I do not owe this debt? Because if you ask them exactly what they're looking for and you provide them everything that is required, then you absolve yourself of that responsibility. What's up? What about collectors that call about accounts that are not on your credit report? Again, just because it's not reporting on your credit does not mean that you don't owe. It just means that it's not affecting your credit score. So they can still call you. Just because it's not on your credit report don't mean that you don't owe. Am I telling you to pay every single debt that somebody calls and say that you owe? No. Make them prove it. You can still send somebody a debt validation letter, even if it's a debt that does not report in your credit report. You just got to tweak the letter a little bit. Remember, if you purchase templates online, they're just templates. You can edit them. So you can just take out the parts where it says that they're reporting to the credit bureaus and that you're going to tell the FCRA on them because it's not reporting. And you just say, hey, please send me all of the information that you have that substantiates your claim that I owe this money. Period. It's just that simple. And they have to prove to you that you owe that. They have to show you a breakdown of what the amount is for. And they also have to prove that you have an obligation to that debt. And that's usually in the form of like a copy of a promissory note or a contract or something like that, where you agreed to pay this debt originally. What other questions you got for me? That was a really good question, actually. What other questions you guys got for me today? You're so welcome. Whew. I still cannot believe that guy said that shit with his whole chest. Now, y'all know how I am. And for those of you who follow me on TikTok, or if you're new to my stuff on TikTok, I had a playlist that was called How to Catch a Credit Guru. I'm not explaining how loan forgiveness works. I'm sorry. But like, I ended up stopping it because they said that I was bullying, and I had to start. I just started it back up, and I'd be having to tell people, like, I'm not attacking the creator. I'm attacking the information that they're trying to spread. Sometimes it's not the creator's fault that they don't know. A lot of people don't do their due diligence before they go repeating stuff that they heard. They took whoever told them this or wherever they learned this from, they took it as truth. They took it as gospel. And a lot of us have a tendency to do so when it's people we trust or what we considered a trusted source. But this is also why I tell you guys to make sure you're getting your education off this app. This is why I'm sending y'all these PDFs. I'm doing these ebooks and posting these links. It's not so that I look good. It's so that you guys have access to the information. So that even if I say something that just don't sound right, or you just want to check it to be sure, you have the space and the resource to do so. How do you feel about Affirm reporting the credit? I love it. I think that Afterpay and Klarna and all of them reporting to your credit report is actually a really good thing. And the reason why is because a lot of people don't understand how biased the FICO scoring model actually is. Just, Vantage too, but FICO, because it's the industry standard, right? It's more prevalent. How discriminatory it is. The information that they use to calculate your credit score, a lot of people don't have access to those kinds of accounts just due to a lack of financial literacy. And so they're kind of starting off on the wrong foot and they never kind of get on the right one. And so they don't have the luxury of being able to go buy a home. They don't qualify for certain credit cards or can't get certain loans. And so it makes it harder and harder for them to repair or rebuild their credit after a fuck up. But with accounts like Affirm and Afterpay and Klarna, it gives more people the opportunity to really take their credit into their own hands and rebuild, because they can use these accounts to provide that positive history that you need for your credit report. And then once that history builds up, your score starts going up, then you qualify for the credit cards, the loans, and things like that. So I am 1000% in support of Affirm and all of them buy now, pay later places. I am all for them reporting to the credit bureaus. I love it. Hell, I wish Air Affordable reported to the credit bureaus, because the way I be putting them flights on there, and for those of you who don't know, Air Affordable does layaway on flights. You're welcome. What other questions y'all got? That was a good one. Do you have or know of a template/script to negotiate lower interest rates? So, no, I don't have a script, but I can kind of tell you how it works. So pretty much you got to go back to, and you might have to dig through some stuff or just kind of think back to where you were when you opened this account. Something that, and I tell people the same thing when you guys are trying to negotiate like credit limit increases and things like that. And what I mean is you guys got to look at what was your credit when you opened this account. So let's say your credit score was a 550 when you got this credit card. And so it has like a 22% interest rate, right? So you want to get it lowered. You checked your FICO score and your FICO's sitting pretty at like a 712, right? And you've had this credit card for a while. You've never had any issues. You really feel like you got a leg to stand on if you're trying to negotiate a lower interest rate or a higher credit limit increase. You literally can just call them and say, hey, I have been a client with you guys for a while. I love this company. I recommend you guys to everybody. I really love the relationship that we have built financially. I really feel as though I am in a better position than I was when I initially opened this account. And I am formally requesting to negotiate a lower interest rate for my credit card or for my loan, or I want to formally submit a request to increase my credit limit. Literally that simple. You want to leverage the relationship that you currently have with that lender. That's going to be key. And an improved credit score is a big part of that relationship. You need to show progress. You need to show them that you're better than what you were when they took that chance on you. That is the only thing really that's going to help justify lowering your interest rate or increasing your credit limit. Ooh, that was a good question. Ooh, come on, y'all. Give me some more questions. I like this. And for those of you who are new here, hello. My name is Markia. I'm a board certified credit repair specialist and credit score consultant, and I use my platform to educate you all on how to do all of this yourself, right? I break down the concept of credit so that you understand it at a foundational level, so that you don't just do stuff because somebody told you to do it. You understand the concepts behind the actions and the calculations and things like that. For example, teaching you guys how to calculate your credit score. For those of you who are not aware, there are 5 categories that are used to calculate your credit score. There's your payment history, which is 35% of your credit score. There's your credit card utilization, or how much of your available credit overall are you actually using. That's 30% of your credit score. Length of account history, that's 15% of your credit score, which is how long you've been building credit or how old are your accounts. 10% is going to be a mix of accounts. Do you have a balanced credit profile, or is it just credit cards, or is it just loans? You want to make sure you have a good mix of both to show that you are a well-rounded bill payer, right? And then the last section is going to be inquiries or new accounts. So how many new accounts are you adding within a 12-month time period? That's what that section is for, and that's 10% of your credit score. All of these categories come together to calculate what is known as your credit score. Now, there are a ton of different credit scores. People ask me all the time, like, which one is more accurate? And there's no one that's more accurate than the other. It's just that whatever your goals are, that's going to determine what score you should be looking at. So, for example, if you're looking to buy a home, then you need to be looking at some very specific scores: your FICO 2, your FICO 4, and your FICO 5. If you're looking to get a credit card, first thing you got to do, if you're looking to get a specific credit card, look up what credit score do they look for. It's going to tell you FICO 8 or FICO 9 or FICO credit card score 8 or something like that. And then you would look for that particular score. Now, me personally, I have 2 credit monitoring services, right? I use Smart Credit to look at the items that are reporting on my credit, because that's where your score comes from based off of the information that's actually reporting. And I love how Smart Credit presents that information to me. It's very user-friendly, easy to understand. And then I use my FICO to calculate my base FICO scores, as well as my industry-specific scores, like my auto score, credit card score, and my mortgage scores. I have been paying a charge-off since February, but they continue to report it every month as a charge-off. Is that right? No. This is considered a false manipulation of the date of last activity, and a lot of companies use this to kind of keep resetting the date of last activity, which determines the statute of limitations or how long a company has to sue you. Is that legal? Absolutely not, but they do it anyway. And a lot of times they'll do it and be like, oh, my bad, we'll fix it. But now that we got you here, where's my money? And that's usually how those conversations go. Now, you are on Facebook. So if you go to my Facebook group, in the group files, there's something known as the charge-off letter. You can use the charge-off letter to send to the company, because you can only charge off an account one time. That's it. Once the account is charged off, that's it. Unless you make a payment, there should be really no update to the account. So you can send that letter in and get them to stop reporting every month as a charge off, but that's still not going to do anything for the fact that you still owe this debt. And it's 9 times out of 10 is not going to get the account removed. A lot of times what they're going to do is just update the account so that the charge off isn't reporting every month. $250 charge off showing on my report. Should I contact the actual company that debt is owed to and pay it? Yes. So if you have a charge off, this means that the company has held on to their right to collect on this debt. This means that they are not sending it out to a debt collection company to collect. They're going to worry about it themselves. When you have a charged off account, this just means that the company charged it off as a loss on their taxes because they weren't expecting you to pay it. This does not mean that you no longer owe. You still owe that money. And so it's best to handle a debt when it's a charge off, because after a while, right, if you don't pay a charge off and they do decide to exercise their right to sell that debt, it'll now become a collection account. And because this company still has the right to report the history associated with the account to include the charge off, not only are you going to lose points for that charge off that you had, but now you're going to lose even more points for the collection now. So it's like you're getting hit twice for the same debt, and it's completely legal. So it's best to handle debt while it's still a charge-off, as opposed to letting it become a collection. What sites should I use to get my accurate scores? So that's actually a preference question. Some people use Experian, some people use Identity IQ, some people use my FICO. It's really whatever you're comfortable with. That's why I said, like, me personally, I have 2 separate subscriptions. And the reason why is because my FICO, yes, it gives me all of my FICO scores, but I don't like how it presents the information when I pull up my reports, and it's expensive as fuck. The cheapest one is $30, and I still only get a copy of my credit reports once a quarter. So I didn't like that. But Smart Credit, I got it for the low, because I quoted on a deal, and I use Smart Credit to look at the information that's reporting. And yeah, Yeah, I mean, it shows me my Vantage score, which there are some companies that still use Vantage, like what you see on Credit Karma and Credit Sesame and things like that. So it is good to know where that stands. But most importantly, I use it to identify the information that's actually reporting, because that is how my score is calculated. I don't focus on my score as much as the information, because if I fix the information, the score will follow. You get what I'm saying? And sometimes there are certain situations where no matter what your score is, something on your credit report can keep you from getting an account that you want. So it's best to hyper focus on what's reporting on your credit report as opposed to just the score. My concern is not getting it removed because it is a car loan, but the fact that they continue to report it as a charge off every month. Okay, so then yeah, I bought your kit before. Yes, the charge off letter is in the kit. All righty. So should I pay a collection? So this is honestly a question that you have to ask yourself. You have to ask yourself, is it worth me not paying it? So when it comes to collections, you got three options. You can ignore it, right? Ignore the shit out of it and kind of hope it goes away without a lawsuit. You can settle. So you just call them and be like, look, I'm gonna make a payment right here and right now. And you can either settle for less than owed or pay the full amount. Or, and this is always my first option, right? You can do something known as a pay to delete. And a pay to delete is when you offer a company either all or a portion of the money that you owe in exchange for them to stop reporting to the credit bureaus. And the reason why you want them to stop reporting is because that is the only way to get points back with the collection, is if you remove the entire account from your credit report. Because it's not about how much you owe or even how many people you owe. It's the fact that you owed in the first place. That's what's losing you points. So even if you settle, that account is still going to be reporting. And now it's going to report that you paid this collection for the next 7 years from the date that you paid. Whereas if you negotiate a pay to delete, it'll be as if the account never existed. Now, how I usually do it is I first send the pay to delete letter. And if they don't agree to the pay to delete letter, if we can't come up to an agreement with the amount that they want me to pay, then I do a debt validation. Now you need to prove to me that I owe this debt. Because see, I tried to give you money and they won't fucking take it. So now you need to prove to me that I owe this money. And if they can't prove it, they got to delete it. But a lot of times what happens when you remove an account by disputing it, right? The account is just sold to another company. And they're like, all right, well, I didn't get it, but I mean, you can do what you do and see if it works for you. And then that company will start reporting, and it'll kind of keep happening usually until the reporting time for that debt has expired, which is 7 years from the date of first delinquency for unpaid debt. So you can keep doing that, or you can try to negotiate pay to delete, so or settle it. It really just depends. But when you do a pay to delete, you know for sure it's not coming back up because you've paid that debt. So there's no debt owed. So you can't collect on the paid debt. And you've negotiated the fact that once they receive the payment, they have to remove the account. So you're making sure that it's not going to appear anywhere else. So those are your options when it comes to collections. And you have to decide whether or not you have to, do it like that. The original company can report a charge off each month. So I'm telling you now, no, I was told, and I'm telling you, I deal with this a lot. They can only technically charge off an account one time. And because of that, after it is charged off that initial time, it's usually not up. It's purposely not updated again until you make a payment. And the reason why is because the date of last activity is updated every time you report as that charge off. And for most states, so again, it also depends on the state, right? Most states have it set so that the only thing that can reset the date of last activity is a payment. And that is why the charge off isn't necessarily considered legal in most aspects, and why most companies won't do it, because when you cross state lines, those things get murky. That's why I said you can use the charge off letter to get it to stop reporting as a charge off every month, but this is not enough to get the account removed. No, when I do, so somebody asked me on my To Catch a Credit Guru, do the person reach out to you to say thank you for the correction or not? No. And the reason why I started doing this series is because when I would comment on their posts or try to reach out to them and be like, hey, listen, like your content, but XYZ, I would get blocked. Or I remember one girl, I stitched the video and saved it as a draft. I hadn't posted it yet, but then I commented. The next day I went to make the post and it wasn't available as a stitch no more. So I started doing the post based off of that. And it was flagged as bullying. People saying that, why aren't you educating? Why are you bullying instead of educating and things like that? But a lot of people, what y'all not understanding is that these people aren't educating themselves before they come on these apps and spitting all this information out at y'all. They just kicking it out. If you search right now, #FCRA, you will be shocked how many people are just posting the same exact video with the same exact text. A lot of times the same exact sounds, a lot of times the same exact mannerisms in the video. all because they're just regurgitating the information that they see. It's no secret that, you know, this industry can be extremely lucrative with the right marketing, right? If with the right scare tactics, they come on here and they tell y'all, if you don't do this, this is going to happen. Or better, they entice you with something that you want to hear, even though it's not the truth. So for those of you who have debt that's in collections, what they'll do is they'll come to you and they'll say, you don't have to pay that. All you got to do is text credit to 46466. Or you don't have to pay that. Comment below and ask me how, or DM me and I'll tell you how. Those are huge red flags, because of this information, if you're putting this information out there, right, and you're putting it out there for the purposes of education, why do I got to DM you to get more details? Give me the fucking details, or put them in the comments so everybody can see it. But that is one of the biggest red flags that I see on this app. They'll spit out some very controversial information and call it a hot take or an unpopular opinion, not telling y'all it's not the fucking truth. And it's just shocking, because so many people will just take it for gospel. What a lot of you don't know is that when you start a credit repair business, you don't need like a certificate or a certification to do this. As long as you get your bond, you're a registered business, like you follow all your little state laws, you're good. You're good. Now, are there people who get certifications? Of course, but it's not a requirement. So most people don't. And so that means that they're not really educated on what they're saying. A lot of times they just repeat what they hear, or they buy one of those already made credit businesses. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're going to run a business, you kind of need to know what the hell you're talking about. Especially if you call yourself a content creator, you need to make sure that the content you're putting out is factual. I'm trying to grow my credit now so we can buy a house. Oh, that's really dope. Unless you live in California, I swear. Oh, shit. Thank you so much for the LexisNexis tips. I just received a letter with PIN to access my report. Yes, I'm telling you, if you guys have never, I don't see that letter in the kit. How does it call? Okay, give me a second. I have to pull the actual kit up. So if you have never pulled up your LexisNexis report, I highly suggest you do so at some point. Let's see. Jesus, I gotta go through all of these. Okay. Matter of fact, I could just go on eQuid. I'll go on eQuid and pull it from there, and I'll tell you what it's called. You just gotta give me a second to get it done. But if you've never pulled your LexisNexis report, LexisNexis is one of those third-party reporting agencies. Hey, Jelly, it's one of those third-party reporting agencies that provide information on you to the credit bureaus. And so a lot of times when you're trying to dispute stuff, and you can't get it off, a lot of times it's because of something that's on there. Okay, so let's see. Let's pull up the kit. Ta-da. Files. Let's see. Download. I sent the ARS letter twice and still haven't heard back from them. That's actually not like them, and the letter wasn't returned or anything. I definitely suggest that you kind of maybe give them a call even to see if they even got your request, I guess you could say. Oh, here it is. Tier 1 letters. Okay. It's not in there. Jesus, I have so many files on here. My God. Oh, did not see that coming. I have it on here as the charge-off letter. When did you buy the kit? The kit has been updated over time, or there's a new kit that came out. So, and that one has more letters in it, I guess you could say. But again, if you're on Facebook, wasn't that somebody on Facebook who said that? Yeah, if you're on Facebook, it's available for free in the group files. You can literally just go into the group and click files, and it's right there. But I have it listed here as the charge-off letter. Oh, shit. Close current tab. Zoom out. Okay. See what other questions I get. Thank you for answering. So even after your education/correction, they keep that misinfo TikTok up. Yes, because it gets them views, right? A lot of people are more concerned with the views than the information they're putting out, because the views make them gives them that social proof that they need to make it look like they know what they're talking about. And so, yeah, they're going to block me and keep the video up because too many people like the video. They're not going to take it down. They actually doubled. I've had people double down on the things that I've corrected them with or on rather. And so it's really weird to me, but What benefit is settling charge-offs if it doesn't help FICO or unless you get sued? Because it helps things like your debt to income ratio and your overall credit worthiness. No matter what your credit score is, if you have an unsatisfactory amount of debt owed, they're going to deny you. And a lot of people don't understand that. There's your credit score and then there's your credit profile. And both of these play a role in whether or not you're approved for things. No matter what your credit score is, for example, if you have too many inquiries in a 12-month time period, you will be denied stuff when you go to apply, even if you have an 800 credit score. So when it comes to charged off debt, if you have too much charged off debt or a high balance, and it can affect your debt to income ratio, or it's just a high balance and the company that you applied for an account for is just like, no, we don't like that. They can deny you over that. So by paying that off, you're taking away that barrier for applying for stuff. Hey, girl, I didn't see you there. Y'all are asking some really good questions tonight. Like, I am loving this. What other questions y'all got for me? Something else that I had put, and I guess I can show y'all this. I think I got it up, don't I? Because I was looking at it earlier. I sure do. So something else that I put in the Facebook group. So y'all know I've been doing the free webinars. I think this week is the first time I haven't done a webinar so far this summer, right? Some of the things that I've been putting in the group files are like, when I do the webinars, I've been trying to put together like ebooks or something for you guys to kind of take away from the webinars. I know that they're free, so I mean, that's a benefit in and of itself, but I also want you guys to take something from the webinar so I can feel like y'all learned something, or at the very least, you can go back and look at the information that I talked about. And one of the things that I talked about is this list right here. So I know y'all heard me talk about LexisNexis a little while ago, but there are a lot of third-party reporting agencies. A third-party reporting agency or a consumer reporting company or consumer reporting agency is a company who reports information about you. Now, the big three, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, they only take pieces of that information. But these companies... they tell all of your business, especially LexisNexis. But the cool thing is that all of these companies fall under the FCRA. So all of these companies adhere to these rules. So this PDF that you guys see on Facebook and stuff, you guys can't see it, unfortunately. I'm so sorry. Instagram just got to get with the times so I can start streaming from my desktop. But this PDF is something that I put in the group files. I got it directly from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, or the CFPB. And it has... It shows you, so I guess I can probably turn it around, or can y'all see that? Let me see if I can turn this around. I gotta unplug my phone first. Let me see if I can turn it around for y'all. All right. So you guys can kind of see it a little bit. It breaks down the different sections. So employment screening. If you ever apply for a job and you want to know what they said about you, you can go ahead and pull up the companies that are reporting the information to you for your background check. And this list has the contact information for all of the companies that are the most heavily used. I guess you can say, well, actually, I think it's all of them. I'm gonna be honest. So this should be all the companies that you should kind of look for when you guys are looking to see what these companies are saying about you. I know you guys I've talked to you guys about, like, if you have high car insurance and you don't understand why, you can pull your Clue Auto report to find out, like, why is your insurance so high? It records a lot of information about you regarding any claims that you may have filed. This particular section right here, if you ever apply for an apartment and you're denied, you have a right to that report. So you can request a copy of that report through the company that you applied through. They have to provide it for you. Or before you even start applying for apartments and you want to just see what they're talking about, you can go through this PDF, right? And you can pull these reports. You can request a copy of each of these reports because these are considered consumer reporting agencies. And you are entitled to one free credit report from every single consumer reporting agency, credit reporting agency once a year under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, or the FCRA. So following that same logic, you can literally reach out to each of these companies one by one and get a copy of your consumer report so that you know what they're saying about you. But I put this in the group files as well. This is also, if you're not on Facebook, that is actually, I wasn't sharing that, but I guess we'll talk about that too. That is actually available in my store. So if you go to my store, like my website store, where like I sell my DIY kits, you can actually see the CFPB list, and it's free. You can literally put it in your cart and it says $0.00, and you can purchase it and download it like that. So this is something that I put together. Man, I still think this was my favorite class that we did. Shout out to you guys. We did it was called Congratulations, Now What? And it was marketed towards high school and college graduates. Shout out to my girl, Heaven, class of 2022. This is her photo from her graduation photos. But This PDF was just breaking down, and I know some of you may have seen that I've started doing these series where I break down the different tiers of credit cards. All of that information is available in this PDF. I kind of put this together for everybody at like literally like an hour before the damn webinar, and I put it on the website and in the Facebook group for you guys to download. So that you can look. So for those of you who are rebuilding, you'll see here subprime secured credit cards. It has a list of the credit cards in that tier, as well as like the pros and cons of each. If you file bankruptcy, here's some bankruptcy approved cards here for you. So there's a lot of information in this PDF for you guys. And again, like it's free. I put it together for you guys. Question, what are you drinking? This is coffee. Yes, this is actually on YouTube right now. So if you guys come into my lives late, all of my lives are recorded on multiple platforms. So right now I'm streaming live on my Facebook page, inside my Facebook group, on Twitter, on YouTube. I'm also on Instagram. So this is going to be saved on multiple platforms. And I do that because I never know which platform is going to fuck up that week. So I try to be on as many as possible so you guys can find me. I'm new to your live stream. Thank you for doing what you do. It is greatly appreciated. Thank you. Oh, thank you. And you know what? I think it's my first time using this cup. So for those of you who don't know, I collect coffee mugs, and I've taken a very heavy interest in those Starbucks mugs. And this is from the Carnival 50-year celebration. I went on a cruise and bought it on a cruise ship. This is my first time using this cup. I really like this cup too. What is the name of the Facebook group? So if you look, streaming at the bottom, you guys see that banner that's running across at the bottom. It tells you guys the name of the Facebook group. It's plugged in the Credit Clubhouse. And you know what? I actually have another one that probably makes it easier. Is that better? Okay. Yeah, so these are my other platforms that I'm streaming on. I know you guys can't see it. I'm sorry. I probably look crazy pointing to shit that's not there. But these are my other platforms. And then at the bottom, it talks about free DIY help in my Facebook group. The group is called Plugged In the Credit Clubhouse. You can also search this way. You can also search that name on Facebook, Markia B, aka the Money Plug. And it'll pull up my profile page, I guess you could say. And under groups, you'll see the group listed there as well. Is there any way to get rid of a car without the credit hit, or a way to lessen the hit on credit? So I'm going to tell you now, no matter if you voluntarily repossess your vehicle, or if you let them come take it against your consent, or whatever you want to call it, it's still the same effect on your credit, a repo. And that repo has negative connotations to your credit. There's literally the only way you can lessen the blow really is if you pay the car off. So, you know, when they repossess your car, they come, they take it to an auction house and they sell it. And then they subtract whatever they sold it for from whatever you owe. If you pay that balance off, yes, you'll have a repossession on your credit, but it's paid. So there's a $0 balance and nobody's going to bug you about it really. Yeah, okay, you lost points for a repo, but you paid off the debt, and that's the most important part. If you don't want to pay it, unfortunately, there's no way to really lessen that hit. I'm going to be honest with you. That unpaid debt is really going to fuck with you. In the light of day, Lord, I do not know why that's stuck in my head. Yes, that happens to me. When I paid it, it helped. I am feeling this today. Y'all are asking some really, really good questions. What other questions y'all got for me today? I mean, y'all can tell me content y'all want me to do. The Friday check-ins is really like this. I'm so mad that this is my first time checking in with you guys this week, and I'm so sorry. But working on this course is so hard. So far, there's well over 40 modules planned in this course. So for those of you who don't know, I'm coming up with, everybody keeps begging me for a DIY credit repair course, right? But I wanted to include all of the information that I have. I don't want it to just be, you guys buy these letters and I tell you what order to send them in, and that's it. You guys need to understand the laws that each letter kind of attach to or represent, so that you know when to send this letter, when to send this letter. So many people end up coming to me when I'm doing my audits and things like that, and they're like, what about Metro 2? And they have no idea how Metro 2 works. They just heard it and heard that things go in a specific order, but they can't tell you why it's in that specific order. Or they'll be like, well, what about round 2? I want to send, I was told to send this, and I didn't see results. If you understand the process behind each of these letters, you'll understand why a certain attack didn't work, or you'll understand why something came back as validated or verified. So it's a lot of modules. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. So far, it's about 40 modules planned. And I feel like I'm adding more every day because I just want y'all to get all this information. But I'm also going to have it broken up so that you don't have to get the entire course. You can just buy the part that applies to you, right? So like if you only need the medical debt portion, you'll be able to purchase just the medical debt portion. Or if you just need something for repossessions, you'll be able to just purchase that section for repossession. So it's coming along slowly, but I promise y'all I'm working on it. I promise. And I also opened up, technically, I only opened it up to Facebook so far, and I've told you guys about it previously, but I did open up a mentorship program for other credit repair organizations to kind of give you guys the information that I have so that I ain't the only one that got it. I'm gonna tell you now, I really hate when I have to turn away clients because I have too many at one time, or I'm just not accepting clients at the time, especially because it's really hard for me to recommend them to people because I don't know who knows what. So this kind of helps me out low key because then I'll have somebody where I can funnel clients to, like, hey, I know for a fact they have access to this information because I gave it to them. So, you know, I'm really excited about that too. What if the repo is over 10 years old and found to have unfair practices like charging blacks more than others? Unless there is a class action lawsuit that makes it so that the repercussion of that action is to cancel all of those loans, like Santander, you know, the lawsuit that they did. Unless something like that has happened, it doesn't matter what kind of unfair practices they've exhibited, they're still going to tell you that you still owe that money because there was nothing that released you from that debt or that obligation to pay. If the repo is over 10 years old, that applies as far as the reporting time. So like 7 years after the date of first delinquency or the date of last payment, it can't report on your credit anymore, but it does not mean you no longer owe. The statute of limitations is unique to whatever state you lived in when you first got the vehicle. So for example, if you bought a car in Louisiana and you moved to New York, even though New York statute of limitations is 3 years now, you're still bound by Louisiana, which is 10 years. They have 10 years from the date of last activity, which can be updated depending on, you know, what your state laws are. They have 10 years from the date of last activity to sue you. And that can be reset even after the reporting time for that debt has expired. So that's also something you kind of want to take into account. I can't seem to find that charge off on the page. Okay. Let's see, group files. It's called the charge off letter. So if you in the Facebook group files, it was uploaded September 21st, 2021 at 1:22 p.m. by Markia Brown. And it's called the charge off letter.docx. So if you go there, you'll be able to see it. It's not on the page, it's in the group. So you got to go in the group to get it. It's not on the Money Plug page. You got to go inside the clubhouse to get it. Let's see. Where should we go to apply for the student loan forgiveness? I'll actually put that link back up for you guys. Damn, I took it down. Hold on, I'll retype it for you guys because I had it up. Back up. Oops. Back it up, back it up, back it up. You get a wristband? Boom. So this is the website, studentaid.gov. If you want to apply for like student loan forgiveness, if you need information regarding the programs to see if you even qualify, if you want to see if you are a part of the loan cancellations that just went through, anything regarding your student loans, this is the website that you're going to want to go to, studentaid.gov, studentaid.gov. I hate that y'all can't see my screen because it looks so cute and I'll be working so hard on it. Look. This is what it looked like whenever I be live on TikTok and all of them. You see how cool that look? And look at the little banner at the bottom. I worked really hard on that. And I hate that Instagram can't see that. It really bothers me. Let's see what other questions y'all got. What other questions y'all got for me? How long have I been live? That's like a really good question. Oh, okay. Okay. Ooh, okay. Now, I know I shouldn't probably have both of these, but I've been a good noodle today. I drank my water. My sugar was all right this morning, so I'm going to drink this. But before any of my moderators come from my life, this is my first Pepsi today. So I'm going to put that out there before y'all choke me out. Y'all know what? Shout out to one of my clients. I don't want to put her name out there, but in the middle of one of my appointments this week, I opened a Pepsi, right, and went to drink it, and she's like, put it down. Like, shout out to y'all, because my followers and my clients really look out for me and my health. Like, I really love you guys. For those of you who don't know, I was diagnosed with diabetes. And so I don't take care of myself like I'm supposed to. But shout out to all the people in my life who keep me in check. Who keep me in check and make sure that I'm doing the stuff that I'm supposed to before I do the stuff that I want to. What other questions y'all got for me? Is there a deadline? Are you going to do another live audit? I don't know, because last time was kind of hectic and I'm not even using the same software to stream anymore. So maybe once I get the hang of this a little bit more, I will, but no guarantees. No guarantees. Can you put the student loan link in the chat? I sure can. Student8.gov. Post. There you go. Is there a deadline for student loans? Deadline for what? Like for the student loan forgiveness and stuff? I mean, yeah. It depends. So like if you're doing like it's like PSLF, the public servant loan forgiveness, if you're doing that, yes, there's a deadline for that. I want to say it's October, but I might be wrong. But yeah, there are deadlines for the different programs. So you definitely want to go to that website to find out what the deadline is for whatever it is you're applying for. Is medical debt falling off automatically? No, medical debt is not falling off automatically. I got slides for this too. So last week was really busy, right? We did two workshops last week. And one of them was one regarding medical debt. For those of you who don't know, there's some big changes coming July 1st. And I'm actually going to do I'll do another like real Instagram Reels, TikTok series for you guys to kind of take a look at that. But we went over the changes. So let's go over that real quick. So the name of the webinar was I Don't Want No Scrubs, Medical Debt and Your Credit. And we talked about the changes that were coming, the changes that have already happened, right? And how it's going to affect your overall credit worthiness. Let's see if I can share the screen with you guys. Let's see. Here it is. Okay, so the first things first, we talked about the No Surprises Act. So the No Surprises Act is something new. Oh, let me change. Hold on. I'm going to change this for you guys. Boop. There we go. So the No Surprises Act was something that changed January 1st, and it protects people under certain insurance plans, pretty much saying that you can't get a surprise bill, right? You can't receive a surprise bill. It's illegal. They have to notify you that you are going to be billed for a specific service or anything before you're billed for it. So like a lot of times I would see this with like ambulance rides or like if your in-network provider recommended you to somebody like at an in-network facility, but an out-of-network provider, like it was a lot of convoluted stuff going on in the medical debt space. And because medical debt is one of the largest problems in America because of how expensive it is for healthcare here, they passed this act. I think this is a really good thing. It's going to help a lot of people for the future, but it really didn't do anything for people who have already kind of been affected by this. And so this wasn't the only change that they decided to do. So there's three big changes that you guys definitely want to kind of take into account that's going to be happening. And some of the changes start July 1st, and then the rest of them we'll kind of see in 2023. So first of all, starting July 1st, you will no longer see paid medical debt on your credit report. Once you pay it, it's going to come off. Because once you pay it, it's like you already paid the penalty, you paid the money, you don't owe anymore. All right, cool, we'll take it off. There's no point in us punishing you for still having this. Because if you're not aware, regular debt, right? When regular debt goes to collections and you pay it, it still reports on your credit report for the next 7 years, unless you negotiate a removal before you start paying. Now, medical debt, you won't have to negotiate that removal. Once you pay, it'll come off automatically. Now, it won't happen immediately. They still say give them 30 to 45 business days to make that change. But because you paid, that is what solidifies the removal of the account. The second change is that the time period before unpaid medical collections will appear on your credit report goes from 6 months to a year. So normally within like 90 days of you not paying any medical debt, it'll go to collections. And they would only wait 6 months before they start reporting to the credit bureaus, right? They'll pursue you for 6 months, keep sending you bills and stuff, getting you to pay. And then if you don't, then they pop up on your credit report, right? 6 months later. Now it's set so to give you more time to pay. So instead of 6 months, it's going to 1 year. Now, the one change everybody wants, this is not going into effect July 1st. You likely won't see this change until the beginning of 2023 is what the credit bureaus are saying. But Beginning in 2023, they will only report medical debt when the amount owed is at least $500. So that's be $500 or more. Any medical debt under that, and trust me, I have seen some petty shit. I've seen $25 copays, $50 copays, $72. I've seen a $17 medical debt on a credit report, which is childish, right? You're really costing me literally my financial future over 17 funky ass dollars. Yes, because they don't care. But this makes it so that there's a floor now. There's a floor. So now they have to meet that requirement in order to report. Now, just because it's not reporting, again, it's very important that you understand this. Just because it's not reporting does not mean that you don't owe. That is very important for you guys to understand. It's just that it will not be reporting to the credit bureaus. This includes dental. So medical, dental, all that falls under medical. Anything that came from a medical service provider, medical equipment, anything medically related is all included in this. And so we went over this during the workshop. But yeah. What other questions you guys got for me? Damn, y'all are asking me some really, really good questions tonight and really keeping me on my toes. What other questions you guys got for me today? Please do not be afraid to ask. There's no such thing as a stupid question when it comes to your credit. Ooh, how about keep checking to make sure? There we go. Oh, you got it. Okay, good. Okay. All right, good, good. What other questions y'all got? Y'all know me. Once the questions slow down, I get the hell off. What other questions you guys got for me? I missed the student loans part. Can you review? It was a lot of information. It was a lot of different stuff too. So no, but like, I'm not saying no because I don't want to, just a lot of different information. But pretty much I went over the biggest point of the live was that we went over the recent student loan cancellations. And we talked about like why these loans were being canceled. So like, everybody thought this was a part of the student loan forgiveness that Joe Biden was advertising when he was campaigning for office, and it wasn't. It was a result of a lawsuit that actually came while Trump was still in office against these very specific schools, these for-profit schools like ITT Tech, DeVry, stuff like that. And so these cancellations are a part of that, not a part of the overall student loan forgiveness that everybody is searching for. So that's kind of where we started, and then people started asking more questions, and we kind of went from there. Can you share IRS debt negotiation? No, because I don't deal with IRS debt. That is something that I strictly believe you guys need to talk to lawyers about, because I don't want to advise you incorrectly and get you locked up, because we are not Ronald Isley. The president is not going to pardon us for IRS debt or not paying taxes and shit like that. What about medical finance for trans care? Does that qualify as a different debt? So from my understanding, because I've asked this question, from my understanding, medical debt that arises from trans care, so like hormone therapy or whatever it is you guys are doing for your care, for if you are transitioning, it is still considered medical debt. As long as it is billed as medical debt, then it still applies to this law. So that means in order for it to report to collections, it needs to be $500 or higher. If you pay it, it'll stop reporting, and then they'll wait a year instead of 6 months to report to the credit bureaus. So as long as it is billed as medical debt, it will be treated as medical debt. That was the explanation that I was given. I hope I answered your question. When you're in good standing with your credit, why doesn't it go higher to 800? It does. So you guys got to understand, like, this is like a cup, right? It's like a cup with the lid still technically on it. As you're filling up this cup, obviously it'll fill up faster when you got nothing in the cup, right? So let's say you guys are down here, and as I fill it up, it'll fill up faster and faster and faster. As you're running out of room, it fills up slower and slower and slower. So 850, right, is the max. It's the max you can go. So the closer and closer you get to 850, the less points there really are for you to squeeze out of certain sections of your credit report. But when you say you're in good standing, and if you feel like your credit isn't moving, so if you have what is known as a stagnant credit score, you just don't know why you're not getting any points, you're going to have to look at the 5 categories of how your credit score is calculated: payment history, credit utilization, length of account history, mix of accounts, and inquiries. You got to look at these 5 sections individually and figure out, why am I not getting points? Where's the leak? You know how like when you get a hole in your tire and they put dish soap and water on the tire to see where the bubbles are? Find the bubbles. But you have to go through each and every category to figure out where those points are being lost at. I did the student loan forgiveness in April. It's now saying I have no application on file. What do I do now? So you need to contact your loan servicer to find out, because does this mean that your loan is being your forgiveness is being processed? Is it moved to a different like stage or level? You really need to call them like ASAP, Bree, to find out like why the fuck I don't see my application on here, because I know I filled it out. And go through your emails to see if you can find confirmation of when you filled it out and when they received it and stuff like that. But you really need to get in contact with them as soon as possible. Ooh, excellent analogy. Thank you. Thank you. You are so welcome. What other questions y'all got for me? Y'all are asking me some good shit. I love this. I love it. If y'all can't tell, I'm a huge nerd. So like this does it for me. I love sitting and talking about credit all day. And I have an announcement. I'm not gonna y'all know I can't hold water. If you don't know by now, if you're new, right? I can't hold water for shit. So I'm so excited. I had the most amazing meeting today, and I'm going to be offering even more services. It's a service that I used to offer in the beginning, but I had to stop because of how time consuming it was. And so the meeting that I had today is going to allow me to bring that service back and kind of make it even easier to understand for my clients, for me. Like, oh man, I'm so excited. So I'm not going to tell y'all what it is just yet, but just know, like, listen, it's lit. I'm telling y'all, back to school is going to be lit. It's so much stuff coming. I'm so excited. Let's see. You're welcome, Bree. And do me a favor, Bree, when you talk to them, tell me what they say. You can just like inbox me or whatever, but tell me what they say when you contact them, because that's weird. I've never seen that. How does business credit work in comparison to personal credit? So first things first, business credit is not bound by like the FCRA or the FDCPA, and like all of that is just consumer debt. Doesn't count towards your business. So knowing all of that stuff has nothing to do with your business, but it's actually really similar. I said similar. It's really similar in the sense that you have to build it the same way that you build your personal credit. Now, a lot of people take the easy way out, right? Where they will co-sign for their business. So it's literally like when you co-sign for a card for somebody. Or if you add on if you have a joint account with somebody, like a credit card or something like that. So like if you co-sign for your business, if you sign up for business credit as a personal guarantor, what that means is you are leveraging your personal credit for that business's benefit. However, if the business folds, right? If the business goes under, this means that they are going to hold you personally responsible, and it's going to affect your personal credit. And that's like the biggest thing. Nobody ever starts a business thinking to themselves, my business is going to fail. However, it happens. And so what I typically tell people is that, yes, it is a good idea because you get to skip the building stages, right? You know how like when you got personal credit, you got to get the subprime credit cards with the super high interest rates, or they got like annual fees and shit like that. You're going to have to open up little dumb accounts like that to build business credit if you're not going to be a personal guarantor. However, because a lot of people take that cheat code, that's how a lot of people actually end up with even more things like, like a business, because the business wasn't able to keep up, especially during the pandemic. A lot of people saw that happen. So it's very similar in the sense that you still have to build it the same way by adding accounts and lines of credit and showing that you're responsible and things like that. It's just like you can cheat in a sense, right? And use your personal credit to co-sign for your business. Obviously, it's a little more detailed than that, but that's kind of like the gist of it. Do I have to contact each to old information off, like old addresses and phone numbers? It depends on how you're doing it. So if you're making phone calls, yeah, you're going to have to call each individual consumer reporting agency that you are trying to remove that information from. If you're doing phone calls, if you're doing letters, you can just send like the same letter to all the different consumer reporting agencies. But just keep in mind that when you are doing this, that if the information that you're trying to remove is tied to an account that's derogatory or even positive, if it's tied to an account, they're not going to remove it. Do you think using NAV is a better option to cheat on building business credit? It's a step. You're not going to get far with just NAV. I can tell you that now because that was all I had for a point in time. But it is a start. It is a good stepping stone to building business credit, but you're still going to have to add other accounts. Like you can't just have that and think that that's going to be enough to generate a credit score for your business. Does that make sense? I guess we're going to have to do an entrepreneurship one too. I really don't talking about business credit, but I'll do that for y'all. Or see if I can find you guys another resource to come in. Okay, it does make sense. Maybe I'll see if I can find somebody. Y'all know how picky I am with partnering with people though, so you never know. Oh shit, let me go back and see if there's more questions over here. I wasn't looking. Oh, okay. Whew, I thought I missed something. What other questions y'all got for me before I hop off of here tonight? How long have I been live? Holy shit. Okay. What other questions you guys got for me? And remember, there's no such thing as a stupid question when it comes to your credit. No such thing as a stupid question. I'd rather you ask and get the right answer than you to just guess and then shit go left and then you trying to ask questions. Okay. So like, I want to say like last year, the beginning of the year, was it last year? No, it was 2020. Was it 2020? Like 2020, 2021, right? There were some accounts, they were called cushion accounts that you could add to your credit profile. It was like AG Jewelers, Harris Jewelers, if you guys are military, right? Harris Jewelers was the shit. I had an account with them for like 10, 12 years. And like you could get a line of credit with them and like you just buy like some shitty piece of jewelry and every month you would make your payments and it would give you like a $10,000 credit limit, which was really cool. And so it allowed people to get a cushion for their credit utilization, which is 30% of your credit score. So it allowed people who have like high amounts of credit card debt, it would give them that cushion that they need so that it's not tanking their credit score while they pay down their credit card debt. Unfortunately, you know how it goes, right? When you learn the rules, they change the game. So the bureau's caught on. Now all these people are under investigation because they're like, this is a false inflation of your credit score and credit worthiness and blah, 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 blah. So you can't really do it anymore. However, the workaround is that some companies like K Jewelers, they offer a credit card. So if you have a jewelry store or jewelry company, right, and they offer a credit card and that's your line of credit with the store, or like, for example, I have a Sleep Number bid, excuse me, and our Sleep Number bid, we got it with a credit card. Like it was through Synchrony Bank. Y'all know they do a lot of store cards. It was through Synchrony Bank and we make our payments to the credit card. If the store does that, then you can use that as the same thing, a cushion account, right? And you just pay for whatever it was you bought. But if they don't offer the credit card, if it's just like a store line of credit, then no, that's not going to help your credit worthiness. And it's not, 9 times out of 10, it's not going to report. Is it good to piggyback off of someone else's credit cards? That is a good start, but you still need to establish your own identity financially. What I mean by that is when you are an authorized user, you have no financial responsibility associated with that card. So like if God forbid, right, that person passes away and they have that debt does not fall on you like it would if you were a joint account holder because you're just an authorized user. So like the debt would just kind of get washed off. And it's good to use to help establish some kind of history, but because that it doesn't have that responsibility and the whole point of your credit is to determine whether or not you pay your bills, right? It's not really going to help you in the long run. You're still going to have to establish your own identity outside that account. So yes, it's a good stepping stone, but you still are going to have to open up your own accounts eventually. Is the Navy Federal more rewards worth it? So it depends. And y'all know how I hate when y'all ask me these questions, right? But it's not a bad thing. So the reason why I hate when y'all ask me like, is this card worth it? Is because I don't know your spending habits. When it comes to what accounts you should be adding to your credit report, so loans and credit cards, the first thing you have to do is evaluate your current spending habits. Your credit cards should not encourage you to spend more. It should reward the spending that you're already doing. So for example, I typically tell my clients to print out your last 30-day statement from your main bank account. Look at your spending and categorize your spending. Let's say you spend most of your money on eating out, right? Because y'all know I don't cook. I'm the Aunt Bird of my family. So let's say that you spend most of your money eating out. Then that means that a credit card that you should add to your credit profile should reward you for that eating out, right? It should give you points or cash back or whatever it is that you want for yourself. It should reward you in some shape or fashion for the spending that you're already doing. You see what I'm saying? So for some people, yeah, the Navy Federal More Rewards card is worth it because it rewards the spending that they are doing. But you have to analyze your own finances in order to really come up with that answer, if that makes sense. But how long? So credit cards are only valuable the longer you have them open. So if you are an authorized user for 6 months, it's going to give you 6 months of history. And then if they take you off, it's going to disappear. So this is why they mostly tell you to only do it with like family, because if you do it with family, family will keep you on there. It's not like you got to keep paying to stay on there. That's why I tell you guys, stop buying these fucking trade lines from people. First of all, the purchase or sale of a trade line violates the intellectual property laws of these companies. So and if these companies find out, a lot of times you will be sued. And a lot of times you will be in trouble. right? They'll try to find some law to kind of hit you with. So this is why they tell you guys to only do it with like friends and family or people you actually know, because they'll leave you on longer, which will allow the account to be more valuable to you. What other questions you guys got? These are some good questions tonight. What about gas credit cards? Are they the same as any credit card? Yes. But it depends. So like for me, I know I've talked to you guys about my Wawa card before, right? So I have a Wawa gas card, but it's not under Markia, it's under the money plug. So it's under my business. That gas card has helped, or fleet card, right? Has helped my business establish business credit. I just use it at the gas station like a regular credit card, but I can only buy like gas and like shit in the gas station and shit like that. I think. I've never tried it anywhere else, if you want me to be honest with you, but that's all I use it for. And so it helps my business build business credit. They do have consumer gas cards and it works the same way. Yeah, you use it at this store, but you would use it the same way you use a credit card. It charges you interest the same way. It calculates your credit utilization the same way. Like it still has the same responsibility. It's just you only use it in this one place. Think of it like a store card for gas. I only have 2 credit cards and 6-year credit history. What other credit do I need to get? What are trade lines? So trade lines are any account that you add to your credit profile. It's a trade line or a line of credit, right? Now when you purchase trade lines, like I said, when you purchase trade lines, that's considered the illegal sale or purchase of the intellectual property of a bank. So that's why I tell you don't do that. That's a big no-no. Right? But anything can be considered a trade line, really. Mine only works for gas, but it's WEX. Yeah, so if it's under your personal credit, right, then it will help your personal credit. If it's under your business credit, it will help your business credit. Back to your original question. What other credit do you need to get? So it's not always about what other credit you need to get, because for some people, you don't have to add a new account. That's not what you need. You guys got to look at all 5 categories. All 5 categories of how your credit score is calculated ties into your credit worthiness and your credit score. It's not the one credit card that gives you the points. It's what it does for your overall profile. All 5 of these categories work together. So you have to evaluate all 5 of these categories before you make the decision on, is adding another account what is going to help me build my credit? Is that what my credit profile needs right now? Sesame was my first credit card in years. My credit jumped 100 points just by opening. So thank you. You are so welcome. So if I'm piggybacking riding a Discover card, do I qualify for my own? Not necessarily. Just because it allows you to get a card as an authorized user does not mean that you qualify for an individual account with that company. No matter how long you've had that authorized user account, you still have to meet the minimum requirements for those accounts. I know I told you, I don't know if you're active on Facebook, but in my Facebook group, I put it's called the Credit Card Cliff Notes PDF. It's an ebook that I put together. Like I literally just like cobbled it together for you guys. And it breaks down the different tiers of credit cards and what you kind of need to qualify for each. And that can kind of guide you in adding credit cards to your accounts, like knowing which ones you qualify for, what's the pros and cons of each card, how to decide which cards kind of work for you, that sort of thing. That's available in the Facebook group for free. I had to remove myself as an authorized user because she was killing my utilization, almost maxing out her card. Yes, being an authorized user is only valuable as long as they're making all their payments on time and they have consistently low reporting utilization. So like, even if they rack it all the way up, you just got to pay it off. You got to pay it off before the statement date. As long as you pay it off before the statement date, you're good to go. You're so welcome. What other questions you guys got for me tonight? If I miss a car payment, how long does that display on my credit report, and is there a way to fix it? It's going to report technically for the duration of the life of that account. So for as long as it takes you to pay that car off, and then 7 years after that last payment, it technically it will show that you had a late payment. It's just that most companies or most lenders only look at the last 2 years, right? But that late payment technically is available to report for the life of that account. Excuse me. So the way to fix it, there's multiple ways to go about it. There's the goodwill letter. There is just a phone call and using like a script for the goodwill letter. You could dispute the late payment and force them to prove that the payment was actually late. It's a million ways to skin a cat. I always say it, but the most success I've seen if it's an open account is a goodwill, but that requires that you have a good relationship with that lender in order for that to work. And then if you don't have the best relationship, just forcing them to validate each individual account can help as well. People use no, for real. You're right. You are so right. What other questions? Let's see. I've been live almost 2 hours. How many rounds will you go for a client before you let them know a negative isn't coming off? Man, listen, I will literally try everything in my repertoire, and we're trying it multiple times. It's really situational. It depends on what we're disputing and where we're stuck at. Like where we're stuck at. So I want to say, like, if I'm stuck at the credit bureau level, I know there's like 5, 6, 7 attacks that I can go through. So if they're willing to stick it out, then we'll stick it out and we'll go through all of them. If we're stuck with the creditor, there's a limited amount of attacks that I can use before I call it quits. But I really say it's situational. And once I get to that point, I'll help them file their complaints with the CFPB or the FTC or whoever. And then after that, there's nothing that I can do. So I kind of cut them loose and I'm like, all right, well, when you get responses and stuff like that, you can always reach back out and restart your services. And I've had people come back after the fact and they're like, all right, hey, so this happened with the investigation. So now this is where we are. And then we'll kind of continue forward with that. But yeah, I've been there, man, especially because like when especially TransUnion was real bad with sending out those, TransUnion was real bad with sending out them stall letters. Oh my God. Or they would just not respond. That was so annoying. And so like, oh no, my whole response froze. I was just saying like, it's really situational. And so if I feel like I've just done everything and it's just not coming off, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna say, listen, we tried everything. And there's nothing to do. So then I'll help them file the complaints and then we'll just kind of walk with that. The biggest thing that I get people to understand that even if nothing, like absolutely positively nothing comes off your credit, you can still build credit responsibly. There are still ways for you to get points if you're building responsibly while I'm repairing. That's what I really need y'all to understand. Everybody be so focused on the repair and they're like, well, nothing came off. Even if nothing comes off, you should still be getting points because you're building responsibly. It's just going to take you longer to get that jump that you're looking for because the derogatory information hasn't come off yet. So as long as you're doing what you're supposed to do, it should still be working out. What other questions y'all got for me? Oh, y'all, it is Friday. I've had some good success with 4 years of perfect history. Oof, that is dope. Lord knows I ain't got perfect history. I just want them old joints off. Yeah, I know the feeling. Trust me. I know the feeling. It sucks. What other questions y'all got for me? Whew. Y'all ain't got no more questions? Y'all know what I say. When y'all start running out of questions, I get off live. Quick. If you came to the live late, I guess I should have just said that. If you came to the live late, this is recorded. So once I jump off of live, you'll literally be able to go to my YouTube channel or Facebook or something like that. And you'll be able to review the video. Oh, I didn't tell y'all. So on Facebook, not in the Facebook group, but like my regular page, I'm able to monetize my Facebook lately. So now you can leave me stars and stuff on Facebook to like, help the content keep going. I give you guys all of this information for free because I've been able to monetize my platforms and things like that. So the more stars and gifts on TikTok and all that other stuff that you guys give, the more I can keep doing this, the more often I can keep doing this, right? So shout out to Facebook. I'm so excited because I've been really grinding for them damn stars. Have you plugged your book lately? Let them know. No, because I'm still okay. So I'm not going to look at you about to get me to spill the beans. Y'all know I can't hold water. But there's something really special coming up. So for those of you who don't know, I dropped a really thick, this is my very first planner. So it has way too much in it, but I dropped a planner available on Amazon. So if you search Markia Brown, Markia Brown, it'll pop up. It's, plug into 2022 and went from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. And I have something very, very special that I'm working on for 2023 that I'll have available for you guys in Q4. But if you want to support, please, by all means, go on Amazon, order you a copy, and help us out, right? Leave a review, a little something. Collections, just in general. If you pay a collection account, how can you get it off your credit report? So when it comes to collections, you do have a couple options. So a lot of people don't understand, but with the collection, the only way to get points back is by removing the account from collections. Now, all companies aren't going to do that. I'm going to be 1,000% honest with you, but for the ones that do, they're not going to tell you that they do it. A lot of times you got to ask for it, or it's like go through their policies that's on their website and it'll say it. And so how you negotiate that. So it's known as a pay to delete. Don't call the company and be like, can I get a pay to delete? No, don't do that. You can call, or I prefer letters. Y'all know how I am about everything in writing. But you can be like, hey, recently I pulled a copy of my credit report and I'm noticing that you all are reporting a debt and you're saying that I owe it. I am not accepting responsibility for this debt. I am not accepting ownership of this debt. However, I do need this off of my credit immediately. In exchange for X amount of dollars or a percentage of what X amount of dollars, so it can be in full or less than full, right? In exchange for X amount of dollars, would you be willing to remove this account or cease reporting to the credit bureaus, right? If you agree to this, please respond back saying what the terms are and where I can make my payment of X amount of dollars. And that's it. Now, if they don't agree to it, or if you guys can't come to an agreement with the amount that you are willing to pay for the debt, then you can do a debt validation. Now, with the collection account, a debt validation is where you ask the collection company specifically to prove that they are able to collect and report on this debt. It's not saying that you don't owe this, right? It's saying that they need to provide proof that they can report on it. They have to meet a certain threshold for proof. If they can't provide it, they have to stop reporting on it. However, a lot of times when you do a debt validation and it comes back that the company doesn't have everything that they need and it's removed, right? A lot of times that debt is just passed off to the next company. And they're like, all right, well, you try it. I didn't get lucky, but I mean, maybe you might. You see what I'm saying? So, and then you'll have to start that process entirely over. The only thing that can guarantee that a collection is not going to repopulate is 1, if the reporting time has expired for that debt. 2, if you've negotiated a pay to delete, because it is illegal to collect on paid debt, so they can't sell it to somebody else after you pay. So that goes for pay to deletes and settlements, or if you pay it in full. That is the only ways to guarantee that that debt won't repopulate. Now, if you've already paid a collection and it did not come off and you want it off now, unfortunately, there's no incentive for the company to remove that debt, right? Because you've already paid. They already got your coins. You can ask them nicely, or you can do another debt validation to force that, like, oh, where'd you get this from? Like, how are you reporting this? And sometimes they're not even going to investigate it because they're like, we don't care. We already got our money in there. Stop reporting. It really just depends. What age should you add your kids to be an authorized user so their credit should start? As soon as possible. Some companies will let you do it for children as young as 13. You got to contact that individual company and they'll tell you what is the youngest age that you can add a child onto your credit card. Again, only do this if you can guarantee that your credit card payment is never going to be late, and as long as you can guarantee that your credit utilization is going to report low every month. Period. Because if it doesn't, then you're going to do more harm than good with this account. So just keep that in mind. What other you got? Man, y'all are on a roll. Y'all are doing some really good questions tonight. I can't wait to save this live. What other questions you guys got for me? And I see some new names on Instagram. What's up, everybody? For those of you who are not familiar with me, my name is Markia. I'm known on social media as the Money Plug. I'm a board-certified credit repair specialist and credit score consultant, and I use my social media platform to teach you guys everything about credit. I teach you guys like the basics. What is credit? How is your credit score calculated? What are the different credit scores? I teach you the concepts and the foundation stuff that you need to really build on top of so that you guys can take your credit and use it for a better life and do some really dope-ass shit. But welcome to the weekly live. I try to go live more than once a week, but man, this week I've been so damn busy. Whew. What other questions y'all got for me? Damn, I've been live for how long? Hold up, go back. Oh, whew. Scared to look, but where can we see our FICO 10T? So if you are a My FICO customer, you'll already be able to see it. There's a specific section that says like other credit scores or something like that. I can't see it because it's on my phone and I'm on Instagram, but there's another section where you can see your FICO 10 and FICO 10T. Or it might only show you FICO 10 because your 10T is not generated yet. There's no lenders who have come out and actually said that they're using FICO 10 just yet, but it's a good idea to kind of just see where you stand. What FICO score is used to buy a house? That's your FICO 2, your FICO 4, and your FICO 5. These are known as your FICO mortgage scores. They're an antiquated credit scoring model. But yeah, that's what they use. They haven't caught up with the times yet. What that was a good one. I got a what? I got a collection letter from a dating app. How is this possible? Because you owe. Anybody can send you to collections. Matter of fact, there is a credit repair company that I spoke to where they will send unpaid, like people who don't pay their invoices and stuff, to collections. And they have no problem doing that. Like anybody can send you collections if you owe them money. Anybody. So yeah, it's possible as hell. If your child is 18, should I add them as a user? Yeah. Yeah. It don't matter how, you can be 32. You can add somebody on your credit at 32. Is it a good idea to have your rent reported on your credit? If yes, who would you recommend? So me personally, I love BoomPay. BoomPay is dope. Rent Reporters is amazing. Rental Karma is another company. Like you got to go with the company you're most comfortable with at the end of the day. So make sure you're doing your research. But I personally like BoomPay. They report to all 3 credit bureaus. They reported 2 years of payment history for me. Excuse me. And all I did was have to pay a couple extra dollars. And they reported 2 years of rental history. And I live in, for those of you who are not familiar, I'm in a military family. So we live in military housing. So they still reported 2 years worth of rent that technically I ain't fucking pay because the Army paid my rent. So it's like, and for those of you who are in college, in the dorms, single soldiers, sailors, airmen, all that, you can report your rent. What it does, it just adds on-time payment history to your credit report. And that's just a benefit in and of itself. It's not going to affect anything else. As long as you're paying your rent on time, you will get that on-time payment history added to your account. And remember, payment history is 35% of your FICO score. So by adding your rent payments, which you got to be on time with, you get what I'm saying, is nothing but a benefit. How do you check your FICO score? There's a bunch of different places that you can check it. Experian, Equifax, TransUnion, Identity IQ, MyFICO. There's a lot of different places. You got to do research and see what you're most comfortable with. There's a lot of different companies. But your goals are going to determine what FICO score you need to be looking at. Because remember, there's a bunch. There's your FICO 2, your FICO 4, your FICO 5, your FICO 8, your FICO 9. There is your FICO auto score, your FICO credit card score. There's your Vantage score. So depending on what your goals are, that's going to determine which FICO score you need to be looking at, which is going to determine what credit monitoring service would best suit you. I know it's kind of convoluted, but how does BoomPay verify if I pay rent through PayPal? Ooh, that'd be a good question for support, because from my understanding, or how it works for me, is I use Plaid and I log into my bank from Plaid. And so whenever, like how it works for the military, right? Your LES, that shows when the rent goes through. So every month that I get paid from the military, right? Every month that my little military check come in, that verifies that the rent was paid. Does that make sense? And so they use my Plaid to verify my payments from my bank account. If that makes, it's really hard to explain. I think I'm explaining it right. I feel like I'm explaining it right. So even if you pay through PayPal, that payment should be coming out of your bank account, theoretically. So if it does in fact come through your bank account, they will see that payment leave, and that will be them recording that you paid your rent on time. Yes, thank you. Okay, I was hoping I was explaining it right. Okay. What y'all know about it? Yo, that versus last night, so glad I did not stay up for it. So glad that I did not stay up for it. First of all, I'm from Baltimore, so I'm biased. I was already rooting for Mario from the beginning, but yeah, that was ghetto. How do you find out the FICO numbers you just explained? So you again, what do you mean, how do I find them out? Like, how do you know which one you need to be looking at? You do research. So if I, for example, if I want to apply for the Apple card, I know Apple uses the TransUnion FICO 9, if I'm not mistaken. So then I know that I need to look up, where can I see my FICO 9 credit score? Now, me personally, I have a MyFICO subscription. MyFICO.com, MyFICO.com has it set up to where I can track every single one of my FICO scores, all of my FICO base scores, plus the industry specific scores that FICO offers. And I just pay my little $30 a month to get access to these scores, because that's what my goals are in alignment with. The scores that they provide are scores that I want to keep an eye on because of the goals that I have set for myself. So that's how I was able to determine what credit monitoring service was best for me, because I had my goals first, and then I kind of did that based off of my goals. I was paying on medical debt with an auto payment and they still sent it to collections. Is that normal? It really depends on the company. So like if you did like an agreement with them and you have like a written agreement where it specifically states, listen, I am going to make these payments every month, and in exchange, you're only going to send the shit to collections, then they can't send it to collections. And that's the only thing that can keep them from sending it to collections. If they decide to send it to collections because it hasn't been paid off by a certain time, depending on the verbiage in your promissory note or like your obligation to pay, that could completely be legal. It really just depends on the verbiage. It sucks because I see so many companies who do that. Bro, after this, I'm finna crash. What other questions you guys got for me? Bro, 77 text messages, Jesus. Oh, I like that. Look. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that. I can't read that. That's too many. Oh. Will it report 50% utilization even though they don't report percentages? Wait, what are we talking about? Will what report 50% utilization? I feel like I'm missing a part. Hey, budget baller, redo your question. I feel like I'm missing a part. Is Credit Karma good and fair? Yeah, for your Vantage score, but not for your FICO. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think they filtered your first comment. So all I see is that one where it says, will it report 50% utilization even though they don't report percentages? I think they filtered it because I don't see the first question. Credit Karma is good for your Vantage score. That's it. Yeah, that's it. Oh, for real? I remember when I was going for my computer science degree. I miss cybersecurity sometimes, and then I don't. Good luck with that, for real. Like, I don't even mean that sarcastic. Like, good luck with that. That should have me pulling my hair out. So, like, if you're trying to buy a house, Credit Karma is not a good thing to use to determine whether or not you're ready to go buy a house. But if like what you are planning on buying or getting or whatever, if they use Vantage to determine your credit worthiness, that's when Credit Karma is valuable for you. Oh, you're so welcome. I forgot to say you're welcome. What other questions y'all got for me? Y'all know what I say. When the questions slow down, I will get off of here. Don't give me the chance to get out. I'll put the church finger up and be gone. Nothing bothering my son. Going once, going twice. Y'all ain't got no more questions? Bro, I don't know why. I don't see your question, B South JB. I don't know why. Budget baller, I swear I still don't see the first part of your question. All they say is, will it report 50% utilization even though they don't report percentages because of the dollar amount? That's all I see. Thank you so much for your information and guidance of where I stand. Have a great evening. Oh, you too. Yeah, I think they filtered your comment too because I don't see no question. All I see is my question, LOL. That's all I see. Oh, I did not mean to wave. Please don't take that no kind of way. what advice you got about mortgages and rising interest rates. So that's not what I do. So pretty much what I do is I talk about how things affect your credit report or credit score specifically. Not necessarily, I don't really get into it about the different interest rates and how, and the mortgages and all that other stuff. Somebody that you're going to want to follow though, her name is the.mortgage.mentor here on Instagram. She has really good information about the different interest rates. When is a good time to buy? What do you need to buy? Things like that. She is a mortgage loan officer. She's been one for like 20 years. So she's really, really good resource for that. We're actually supposed to be doing a live. I completely forgot about that. We're supposed to be doing a joint live soon. Do I need an airfare card? Do you travel a lot? Any credit cards that you add to your credit profile need to support the spending that you're already doing, not encouraging you to spend more. So let's be honest. If you don't already travel, do not get an airfare card because you're already not traveling. So you don't want to get it. Your credit card should not encourage you to spend more or encourage you to spend more in one category. It should reward the spending that you're currently doing. So if you don't travel, then no, you don't need an airfare card. But if you eat out, maybe get a card that rewards you for eating out. Whew, this Rice Krispie treat is calling my name. 2 hours. Ooh. Oh, shit, it's 10 o'clock. Y'all got any more questions for me? Going once, going twice? Well, I'm going to go ahead and cut y'all loose. You're so welcome. I'm going to go ahead and cut you guys loose. I've been live for 2 hours. Oh, wait. I have student loans right now. It's on income based. Will I be considered for student forgiveness? If you applied for it, yes, you'll still be considered for student loan forgiveness. If you have not applied for it, then probably not. Is pay to delete obsolete since the FICO 9? No, because a pay to delete means, so even with FICO 9, the only way to get points back with the collection is to remove the collection. So a pay to delete is the only thing that's going to guarantee that that account is going to come off because you negotiated the removal of this account pending that you pay whatever it is you agreed to pay. And by removing that account, that gets you points back. Doesn't matter what FICO scoring model you're using, a pay to delete is the only way to get points back for collections, period. Any more questions? You're so welcome. I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. I forgot to post a couple videos on TikTok, so I'm going to hurry up and throw them. It's 10 o'clock. I might as well post it tonight. Fuck it. Y'all know what I always say. Make sure you guys follow me on all my different social media platforms. If you missed the live or you got here late or whatever the case may be, this will be recorded on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram if they let me save it. So you guys can go to any of my other social media platforms. I know TikTok doesn't allow me to save it, but you can go to any of my other platforms and catch any of my other lives, including the joint lives that I've done with other people where I provided you guys with a lot of information. But like I always say, live every day like it's your last. But pay y'all bills and wear condoms just in case it's not, right? And I will see you guys next week. I'm trying to get on here on Sunday, but I'm not going to make any promises, but I will be back Monday to talk to you guys because I got some information I want to talk to you guys. We'll probably go over medical debt again. But you guys have a good weekend. Be safe, be kind, and please pay your bills. But I'll see you guys later.